Now what is happening is that Pope's body is traditionally put on display in St. Peter's Basilica. This is where we are witnessing now all the rites, all the procession. This allows mourners to pay their respects. Traditionally, popes are buried in 3 coffins, but in this case, in this particular case, Pope Francis has altered only 1 coffin. In his will, he ordered it to be in 1 coffin, not in the usual 3 coffins, one made from cypress, another from zinc or lead, and a final one from oak. But Pope Francis ordered that his mortal remains be buried in a wooden coffin, simple wooden coffin. This decision of Pope Francis to be buried in a wooden coffin was made on November 2024, when he himself modified the Papal funeral rites in order to make his funeral rites similar to that of a bishop, opting to be buried in a simple wooden casket. Pope Francis will be the first pope in a century to be buried outside the Vatican walls. As he's older in his will, he will be buried in Santa Maria Maggiore Basilica. He was a great devoter of the Salus Populi Romani, or Salvation of the People of Rome, icon that is kept there. This basilica is the first one he visited after his election to the papacy, and every time he was on pilgrimage, he also visited during COVID and after every trip abroad. These are live images inside St. Peter's Basilica, where the mortal remains of Pope Francis are being displayed, and the rites before the people being allowed to enter in the Basilica to bid farewell. Before we were listening to the choir singing to the saints for praying to Pope Francis. There we see the College of Cardinals that are now ruling the sede vacante as they await to choose a new pope in the conclave. And precisely after the funeral, the College of Cardinals will gather in Rome to prepare for the conclave. In this case, there are currently 252 cardinals, 138 of whom are cardinals electors. The conclave usually begins within 50 to 20 days after the death of the Pope. And to be elected to the papacy, a successful candidate needs to achieve a supermajority. In this case, 2/3. Conclave will continue until this majority is reached, although after the 34th ballot, voting is restricted to the top 2 candidates. In this whole process, black smoke emanates from the Sistine Chapel. If a pope has not yet been chosen during this process, If voting does not reach the required 2/3 majority, the ballots are burned in a stove near the Sistine Chapel with specific chemicals that help produce the black smoke. In turn, if the smoke turns white, a new pope has been elected. The bells of St. Peter's also run.